Hi there, welcome to Charlene's Kitchen. Today I'm going to make some breaded pork chops, but we're going to do some layering with some leftover goodies that I have. So we're going to, first of all, line our pan with some leftovers that I'm going to put down. And I've got mashed potatoes here and some stuffing that I had left over from my roasted chicken. So I'm going to put that in the pan, and then I'm going to put some cranberries over that, and then we're going to uh, brown up our pork chops, spread them real nicely, and put them on, and then roast them. So let's begin. If you look down here, you'll see my beautiful pork chops here, and I already sliced up. I sliced up these onions to go one for each pork chop, and I've seasoned them really nicely, rinsed them really well, patted them dry, and seasoned them I put some poultry seasoning. Okay, so first of all, we're going to put these to the side because we're going to brown them up after we do our layering. Okay, so here's my pan. Okay, I'm going to take a little butter, my Land O'Lakes butter, and I'm just going to grease that up a little bit. Put some butter all around like you would when you're making a cake. Okay, like you would when you're making a cake. Get that all around there. And you know, I like that butter that it's a mix of oil and butter. So I like canola oil. Canola oil and butter. And another one that I like, it's olive oil with sea salt. That's also a great one. So anyway, we've got our pan greased up. Now, you're going to think this is funny, but I'm just showing you different ways that if you have leftovers, this is how you can use them up. You can use them up. So I'm going to put these beautiful mashed potatoes that I had from dinner last night with my chicken. I roasted a chicken, and you know what? I got 3 meals out of that one. Of course, you know what? It's 3 of us. It's just the 2 of us here. So 3 meals and $12. And you know, a can of cranberries, what, a couple potatoes, very economical. So kind of think about when you, of course, I realize that if you have a family like, well, I had 3 kids, so that would have been 5 of us. That probably would all go. You wouldn't get as much out of that as I. Now, I put the mashed potatoes down, okay, on top of that butter. Now I'm going to crumple this stovetop dressing that I had left over on top of the potatoes. On top of the potatoes, all just around, scatter. You know what? I found a piece of chicken. I didn't even know I had it left over yet. See, 2 people don't eat that much. So we were able to make several meals out of it. All right, so we've got the dressing now on that pan. See that? Okay. All right, I'm going to rinse my hands again. I have to use my hands for this, otherwise, well, it would be very difficult otherwise. And now, on top of this, I'm going to use the leftover cranberries, and I'm going to spoon them on top of that, just like that, like frosting a cake. Okay, like frosting a cake. You can't believe how delicious this is. Okay, it really is good. Well, you might try it. It just takes a little courage, and sometimes you think, wow, that was pretty good. So it's got a sweetness to it, right? A little tartiness over the potatoes and that. So we've got this all ready to go, right? We're going to put the pork chops right on top of that. I'm going to get this flame going here. Get my big old cast iron pan nice and hot. And I've got my 3 little dishes here, okay, with the egg. I put a little salt in there. Couple shakes of salt. Let's see, I would really, where is my pepper? Where is my pepper. Okay, I'm going to use this. It's a little garlic pepper because it's not showing itself to me. All right, so I'm going to put that on there. There. That's that. Now what is this here? This is a little rosemary pepper. Okay, little pepper. And there we are. So I want you to be able to see what it is that so I'm just going to mix this up. I added a little bit of skim milk to this, to the eggs. Okay, a little bit. Yeah. So that's the pan with that. Now the first pan, the little dish, I lined it with some paper towel. That is just flour. So I'm going to bring the pork chops over. I'll bring those pork chops over. There they are. So it's flour, egg, and panko breadcrumbs. So here's a beautiful pork chop in the flour. In the flour. I seasoned it with poultry seasoning. Okay. You can just add salt and peppers, just as wonderful. There it is. Now in the egg wash. I'll do this here so you can see better, maybe this way. Into the egg wash. Flour, egg wash. Okay. I'm also going to turn my oven on at 350. Let that get started. And now I'm going to take that little pork chop and put it in my panko, like so. Just smash it into those breadcrumbs, see? Smash it in there. I'm going to put it right in the pan. I got it hot. So flour. Flour. Get that flour all over that chop. That's that. Egg wash. Egg wash. Egg wash. And panko breadcrumbs. Here we go. Just fluff them around. Make your little dishes all ready to go. It's so simple. It's fast. Here you go, into the frying pan. And another pork chop. Into the flour. Sometimes the paper towel even works better because I can, I can fluff it around, right? Okay. So there's my pork chop. Into the egg wash. Into the egg wash. Nice, very nice. Okay, into the panko breadcrumbs. I'm going to take that paper towel out now. I've only got one more to go. So I think that will make it nice. You can see how pretty that looks, huh? Okay, there is our pork chop, third one. Okay, and my last pork chop. This is a pretty good size. Okay. And there's that. And now into the egg wash. Into the egg wash. And into the panko. Here we go, last one. Very simple. Looking good. Just about taking up all my, I measured that pretty good. You hate to waste this stuff, but once you use it, you can't be throwing it back in the box because it'd be bacteria. So you better to put less in, and then if you need it, you can always add, right? Now we put those pork chops into this frying pan. I'm going to get this all out of this and this out of here. Like that. Just like that. We're going to move this camera over here. Maybe you can get a glimpse of my pork chops frying up there. Here we are. Okay, we get them brown. We have this pan already with our mashed potatoes and the stuffing. And this is just an idea of what you can do with leftovers. Sometimes people go, oh God, I'm just going to throw this out. I don't know what to do with it. No, think about it. Think about it. Think about it. Maybe you can figure out a different way of using it. It's a shame not to use all these wonderful things. Okay. And I like to, when I roast the pork chops, I like to put them over something like that. Like one of my other videos, if you'll see, I made it over potatoes. I lined it with potatoes and sauerkraut. And that was really, really good. So now, this is kind of be like a stuffed pork chop. See how they're browning up real nice? Browning up real nice. We want to get those a little bit more. No. I'm going to come back when they're a little more browned up. Okay, we're back now, and the pork chops are nice and brown, and they're ready to be put into my little pan here. So I'm just going to scoop them up, and I hope they all fit. Ooh, that's going to be a squeeze, but we'll get it in. Here's this one. Oh, perfect. It worked out. So I'm going to push this aside so that you can see those chops are right on top of this, all of that goodness we put in there with the potato and the stuffing and the cranberries, okay? And now I'm going to, what I want to do is top each pork chop with a raw onion, like so, just like that. Like so. So that can drip down in there. I'm going to put this in the oven now at 350 for 1 hour, and I'll get back to you when they're done. While our pork chops are roasting in the oven, I thought we'd make some applesauce. I don't know, there's just something about pork and sauerkraut or dressing and potatoes that just screams, I want some applesauce with this. I think it would be so good. And there's nothing so delicious like a real nice decadent applesauce. It's not like the jars kind that you find in the store, you know. It's convenient and it's good, but there's nothing like homemade applesauce. So we're going to just come down here a minute, and you're going to check this out. I've got some Honeycrisp apples, some brown sugar, a little salt, lemon, and we're going to add a little water. And it's really quite simple. You can even add a tiny bit of butter. Now, you don't have to be real persnickety about getting all the skin off the apple. Sometimes it adds a little flavor. Now, what I was told by a doctor that all the vitamins are really in the skin. So they don't cut it off. They tell you to eat it all. So now, so we're going to cut this apple up, and I'm going to get done with the rest of them. And then I'm going to cut the pretty apple, isn't it? Honeycrisp. Those are one of my favorite kind. When you figure out a nice pot, a solid pot with a lid on it, you're going to need that. And so I kind of just judge as to how many apples do I want to make. Well, if you can make a lot of applesauce, but I really only care to make as much as I think that I'm going to, have within the next few days, because I think it lacks its flavor if it sits too long, and I'm sure it can. It's probably still good even after a week or so. So I'll get this cut up, and we'll come back. Okay, so I got the 5 apples peeled, roughly peeled. There's a little skin left, kind of pretty, that red skin on these Honeycrisps, and you can use any apples that you like. Now, I'm going to add about a 1/4 cup of water, okay, a little water. I'm going to add a lemon, a squeeze of half a lemon, right, just to give it that little acid, that little taste. Lemon is such a wonderful ingredient in many things. in many, many things. So half a lemon. And I'm going to take a little bit of this brown sugar that I have here. And I'm going to put, hey, let's see, a heaping tablespoon of brown sugar. And I'm going to put a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Not a lot of salt. Not a lot of salt in this. And you know, we'll taste it later and see. Salt is just to enhance the flavor, like the lemon. So we've got a little bit of water in there and some brown sugar. Now we're going to put the flame on. We're going to let this cook down slowly, slowly. And we're going to put a lid on it. Let me see, here's my lid. I'm going to put a lid on it. And maybe in about 20 minutes, I'd say, probably just before those pork chops come out, those apples might just be done. And then we can plate them all up. And also, so you want to check it. You know, this thing, set it and forget it, that's not when you cook. You have to watch everything that you're doing when you're cooking. So, and you have to be careful. So, because like, let's say this starts to simmer down. Now the apples are going to release some juices, you know. So that's what we're counting on. But we do have to make sure so it doesn't burn. Okay, we'll be right back. I'm back because as I was putting a few things away, I realized I really omitted. That's when you don't pull everything out ahead of time, and that's what I did. We need cinnamon and a dash of nutmeg, okay? My goodness, that would have been, it wouldn't taste good. I would know right away I did something wrong. So I'm going to bring this little camera over here so you can see where I'm at. And now we're going to put, and when I say a dash, I mean, you know, like that, okay? Okay, I did 3 dashes. And I'm going to add, I would say, let me see. Oh, I'm going to put a teaspoon. I think that it kind of, let's see. Oh, maybe not. No. Little over a half maybe of teaspoon. There's only 5 apples in there, so you have to kind of judge that by yourself. And we're going to add a little bit of butter. Okay, I'm going to put just a little butter in there. And there goes my oven. Those pork chops are going to be coming out. Okay, so we're going to put a little teaspoon of butter. That'll do it. And now we'll kind of want to toss that around a little bit. Okay, see how that's all just, they're still very hard. It takes about 15-20 minutes. It depends on the apple too, you know. So we've got that all tossed around. Cover it up again. And let's let that simmer for about 15-20 minutes. I might be checking it in between though. Okay. See you in a little bit. Pulled out the pork chops out of the oven after an hour. I wanted to be sure that you would remember to cover them. Be sure they're covered, okay? So now we're going to take this top off. Oh, that looks so, look how good they look. Oh my goodness. The onion and the pork chops, and we're going to pull those out, but we're going to have to wait until that applesauce is done because I want to plate that all up for you all at the same time. Oh, they look yummy and tender. Okay, so our applesauce is just about done. I'm going to add, I tasted it, as I say, always taste it. I'm going to add about 1/4 cup of apple cider vinegar. I think it needed just another little tad of you know, just to be a little bit more sassy tasting, right? So 1/4 cup of apple cider vinegar. And then I always tell you to taste everything. So give it a taste and see if you feel that you like it sweeter. You know, some people might like it sweeter than others. I'm going to give that a little taste myself now that I added that. So don't forget the cinnamon like I did, a dash of nutmeg, and I like a little nutmeg, and brown sugar. And oh, I left the jar out because I wanted to tell you, which I did mention once before in one of my videos, to put a little piece of apple, which is in the jar, or however you keep it in a bag. But look, see, it's a little core of the apple. I just put it in there. It's amazing, but it keeps the brown sugar nice and supple. Otherwise, sometimes I'm sure you've probably had to throw some out. I know I have. It was just hard like a rock. Okay, so we're gonna just give this a little taste and see if it's aha. Yes, I had it on a timer. It took about 15 minutes. About 15. It's quite sassy now. Now I know that I need more brown sugar. And this is what I want you to do, because you have to realize that when you are cooking with meat or vegetables, or in this case apples with fruit, they all vary. Sometimes they're sweet. I'm going to put another heaping tablespoon of brown sugar, because I do like it more on the sweeter side. But that's something that you might like it not as sweet, or maybe you don't want to use so much sugar. Okay, so here we are. I'm going to stir that up a little bit. And so, let me just see how this is now. This should have done it. That's good. I just got enough of everything, right? And so I'm going to plate this up, and we're going to, oh, I wanted to try another thing. To rush things up a little bit, I mashed some of these the apples up, okay? So we're going to put them in a little bowl. Let's put that applesauce in a little bowl so you can see how pretty they turned out. Okay. And so, you make this, another way of getting apples. Maybe kids will try it, huh? Maybe the kids will try it. They would like it. It's sweet and it's tasty. Okay, I also like it when I have pancakes. Oh, I love it with pancakes. I put it on the side and I roll my pancake with a little bit of that, I put it inside the pancake and I roll it up. I love it that way. Now we're going to get a plate down, and we're going to see what these pork chops look like. Okay, so let me get this camera over here so you can get a bird's eye view of what I'm doing. It's nice to see, right? I need a big enough spoon. I'll just grab this one. Okay, so we're going to take this pork chop here so you can see this. Oh, this looks, I love what happened here. Look at these potatoes at the bottom with the cranberry. Oh boy, it kind of, ooh, it's like a little caramelized, because you've got the dressing there and you've got the cranberries in there. Let's go over here to the plate and I'll show you. Okay, so there is the pork chop with our onion on the top and a little bit of that. Isn't this cool the way this looks? And it tastes amazing. The potatoes, a little bit of dressing that was mixed in with the cranberries, huh? And then our applesauce right here. Wanted to show you just how wonderful this pork chop looks, and it's so tender. Look at this. And it's got that little bone in there to gnaw on. Oh my God, everybody loves that. Look at that. Isn't that delightful looking? I just wanted to show you that. Now here's a little bit of a better shot on that. So we've got our pork chop and our wonderful dressing with the mashed potatoes and the cranberries. You've got to try it. It's a crazy mix, but it is so good. And if you can just make it all, it doesn't have to be leftover. You could just make those other little dishes and add them. Especially if you have a bigger family, you might be making not just 4 pork chops, but 8 pork chops. And we've got the little applesauce and that onion and that breaded pork chop, so nice and tender. What a wonderful meal. I hope that you'll try to make this. I'll see you soon.